Hello everyone, FTO Willem here. In this video I will talk about the upcoming games and share my opinions on the best teams, with the best games and with the best players from those teams. I will talk about goalies, defenders, midfielders and forwards, and I will also show replacement options for highly owned players like Goalkeeper from Sporting. If you guys could subscribe and help me reach 100 subs before the end of the season, this Champions League season, that will mean a lot to me. But for now, let's get into the targets for the upcoming games. Now, as always, I will start with my targets. Well, as always, I think I did it the last 2 times, but that's basically always. I will start with my targets. My targets don't include wildcard or limitless IDs, as I don't know your guys' teams. So I will just basically put them on the best fixtures I can find. If you guys are curious, my own strategy is to hold the wildcard after the group stage and use the limitless in game week 6. But for now, the teams I'm focused at is Atalanta, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern München, Borussia Dortmund, Feyenoord, I'm not sure why I put them in, Manchester City and PSV. Now Atletico, their fixture isn't great, but after that it's 2 lesser teams. As I'm thinking about, maybe I shouldn't have put Atletico Madrid in. Same basically goes for Feyenoord as they have Manchester City in match day 5. But the first match day for Feyenoord is Salzburg. But today, as I'm recording this, they played against Ajax at home and they lost 2-0 and they were playing terrible. So maybe not Feyenoord. Other teams have great upcoming fixtures. If you disagree or if you think I missed some teams, let me know in the comments. But for now, let's move on to the goalkeepers. Now, we start off with the goalkeepers. And once again, I've gone with Kobel. I feel like Kobel is the best goalkeeper in the group phase for basically every game. If you limitless or wildcard in game week 6, you can move him out as he has a difficult game in game week 6. But for now, I've gone with Kobel. Kobel plays on the Tuesday, the 5th of November, and plays against Sturm Graz at home. After that, he will play against Dinamo Zagreb away. Kobel kept a clean sheet against Brugge away in game week 1, and I think he has a big chance to keep a clean sheet here as well. Next up is the Barca goalkeeper Peña. Peña plays on the Wednesday, the 6th of November, and plays against Red Star away and Brest at home. So 2 easy, should be easy games for Barcelona. Peña is a cheap pick with a great defense in front of him. And now that Ter Stegen is out, he is the best goalkeeper for Barca, as Szczesny isn't in the competition or isn't signed in from Barcelona for the competition. So I think with 4.5 million, Iñaki Peña, great pick there. And the last one I've gone with is Ortega. Now maybe not as certain as the 2 next to him, but Ortega played both games, well, the 2 last games in the Champions League, and I expect him to play the next one as well against Sporting. Now City play, as I said, against Sporting away, and after that is Feyenoord at home. Ortega is as Peña a cheap option with a good defense in front of him, both 4.5 million as I said. But between the 2, I would lean to Peña, as I have Sporting higher than Red Star, and I think Peña is more certain of his spot than Ortega, as Ederson could come in for, maybe some games for, instead of Ortega in the Champions League. But yeah, those are my goalkeepers. Let's move on to my defenders. So for the defenders, as I've gone with Kobel, I've gone for another the Borussia Dortmund defender, and that's Can. As I said, Can plays like Kobel against Sturm Graz. After that, he plays against Dinamo Zagreb. Note that he didn't play against Real Madrid, but that was because they were needing a more speedy player in that position, and Can is getting a bit older. Can will take the penalties if the game hasn't been decided yet, else Guirassy will take them. I expect him to play the next game, and if he doesn't start, at least you can sub him out for the next match day. Up next are the City defenders. I didn't know who to pick, but if you pick one of these players, you will be refreshing every time the lineups will come out if they play, as you just don't know who is going to play with Pep Roulette. In my own opinion, I think Ake is a great pick, as he will probably play the Champions League and the Cup games, so he won't play a lot in the Premier League, but the Cup games and the Champions League will be great, and same goes for Stones. Akanji and Lewis played every game so far. You can see that as good news or bad news, as they will be maybe given a rest, or it's good that they played every game, so you can expect them to play every game. I think Lewis only missed out on 1 match in the Premier League, and that was against Arsenal. But after that, he played basically every game. So he's doing great. City plays on a Tuesday, so if your player doesn't play, at least you can sub him out for a player that plays on a Wednesday. City play against Sporting away and Feyenoord at home. Just a little reminder there. And last but not least, I've gone with Zappacosta from Atalanta. Atalanta have kept 3 clean sheets so far against Arsenal, Shakhtar and Celtic. And next up for them is Stuttgart and Young Boys away. Zappacosta has a great attacking threat as he gets in some dangerous crosses, which resulted in 1 assist against Shakhtar. He also got an extra point per game as he gets around 3 ball recoveries every game, not more than 3, or at least not 6, not less than 3. Every time is around 3, so he gets 1 point every time. If he can keep a clean sheet, possibly getting an attacking return with that 1 point for ball recovery, well, I think you can get a 10-pointer out there as well. But yeah, those are my picks. Good luck with the City picks if you go for them. But for now, let's move on to the midfielders. Now I've ended it off with Zappacosta, the Atalanta defender, and I'm starting it off with the midfielder Lookman from Atalanta. Lookman didn't create a lot in the last games against Celtic. He got pinned down against Atalanta quite well, especially defensively. Celtic were putting out a masterclass in defense. But in the league, Lookman is still smashing it with 4 goals and 4 assists in 6 matches, where he only played 5. He is a bit risky, as in against Shakhtar and against Celtic he got subbed between 60 to 70 minutes. Against Shakhtar he got like, I think it was like 59.2, so that rounds up to 60th minute. So I got lucky there myself. But he often gets around 60 to 70 minutes, but he can make a big difference in these minutes. He also had some great fixtures in front of him with Stuttgart, the Young Boys. So yeah, maybe he does play on the Wednesday, so if he doesn't work out, yeah, too bad. You're going to lose points there if he doesn't work out. But yeah, that's basically with every player that plays on Wednesday. Next up is Rafinha. Now this might feel as points chasing, as he had 14 points against Young Boys and 20 points against Bayern. But that just basically he's showing his capabilities on the field against the bigger teams and maybe the less teams in Young Boys. If you have Lamine Yamal, or if your players in your mini league have Lamine Yamal, Rafinha could be a difference maker, as they are the same price, at least for now, they're the same price. And with Red Star and Brest up next, he can become a real difference maker. And the last one is a PSV midfielder. It's actually the first one I've chosen from the Eredivisie, the Dutch league. The American is playing well in the Dutch league with smashing in 5 goals and 1 assist in 9 matches. And usually I don't have a team like PSV in there. They're just a bit of a mid-table team in the Champions League. But PSV have a great fixture run comparing to other teams, as they play at Girona at home, Shakhtar at home, Brest away and Red Star away. So those are 4 teams I think PSV will score at least goals. They will concede goals probably as well. But I think Malik Tillman is a great option if you don't know who to choose and if you need a long-term viable option for the next 4 upcoming game weeks. I think he can score some points in the upcoming games. So yeah, maybe an option there if you don't know who to choose. For now, let's go on to the forwards. Now with the forwards, if you haven't gone with 3 Dortmund players yet, Guirassy can be a great player to have in your team. He's getting better this season than he was at the start. He hit the net 4 times in 6 matches in the league. I don't know if he started out of 6 matches, but at least he played 6 matches. He shares with Can the penalties, so if you have them both, at least you're secured of the penalties. I feel like Dortmund are getting a lot in the Champions League. And with the fixtures upcoming, he can be a great addition, especially if you're looking for a Gameweek 6 limitless or wildcard. Then he can be a great, differential if players in your league don't have him. Next up to Guirassy is Harry Kane. Bit of an open door, I know, but he has a difficult fixture game against Barca the last game, and even there he scored a goal. Bayern have Benfica at home and then Paris Saint-Germain at home. But after PSG, there won't be a bad game for Bayern anymore. So you can just keep Kane, and I expect him to get some returns there. I expect to get from Kane a lot of points. Maybe the same amount of points he did in Game Week 1 against Dinamo Zagreb, where he got like a 20-pointer. I think he got 23, as I've seen people in my mini league with 43 points. That was basically half of the points I got. I got 75 points, so that was more than half. So that hurt a lot with one player. But I think he can replicate, well, maybe not the 20 plus pointer, but at least a 10 plus pointer against the games he's coming up with. And the last one next to Kane, I've gone with another PSV player. As I've gone with Malik Thielman in the last slide, I've gone with Luc de Jong from PSV in this slide. If you don't know, I can expect you won't choose both players. But Luc de Jong is scoring a lot of goals in the league and he's also on penalties. He has a great fixture run, as I've said with Malik Thielman. Difficult games behind him in the Champions League. He only got 6 points in 3 matches. But as I said, excuse me, he got a difficult run against Sporting, Paris Saint-Germain. Can't remember the first one. But it wasn't the easiest as well, that's what I can remember. And in the league, in the Dutch league, in the Eredivisie, he's smashing in it as well. If you're looking for a differential for 7 million, I think he can be a differential maker. So yeah. Now I quickly want to show you guys 3 players which you might want to remove from your team. And I'll give you some examples for who you can replace them with. Now we're starting off with Goalkeeper, or however you want to pronounce his name. He plays against Manchester City and Arsenal, both away. Possibly the most difficult fixture out there. Now there are obvious replacements with Haaland, Lewandowski, Vinicius Jr. But they are like 3 million more than he is. So I don't expect you guys to have the money to upgrade to those players. But I have decided to put in Guirassy and Luc de Jong. I gave you guys examples why to choose them in the last slide. Both are in the same price range with good fixtures. You could stick with Guirassy as he is a great finisher, but I don't expect a lot of chances against Manchester City and Arsenal there. But yeah, Guirassy and Luc de Jong I think are great options to replace him with. Now up next, I've gone with Musiala and Saka, and I don't have really replacements. I think the replacements you could find are Phil Foden, etc. But I will come up with that in a few seconds. But both these players are incredible, but they've shown possibly injured in the game. Now Saka did play against Liverpool and Musiala also returned last game. Just can't quite remember against who. I'm a bit unsure against who Bayern played, but I think Musiala played in there. Just keep a good eye on them if they play this weekend, but I expect them to play. I know Arsenal has Inter, so if you're still wanting to transfer Saka out, you could replace them with the likes of Foden or Rafinha, who also have great games. I didn't put in Foden in the midfielders. The reasoning behind it, I feel like a lot of people have Foden in the midfield, same as I didn't pick Haaland, as everyone probably has Haaland in the attack. So I've gone with a bit of differential makers in some of the slides I've gone with. But as I said, if you want to replace these players, I don't expect you. I think most people have other injuries and issues in their team. But if you want to replace these players, Foden or Rafinha would be great options. Now the last one of the 3 slides I've gone with for replacing someone is Jimenez. Now I don't think a lot of people have him in their team, but I have him in my team. And I wanted to investigate my options and possibilities, and I guess I wanted to share it with you guys. Maybe talking to someone helps me think about his options. Jimenez won't play as he had 3 yellow cards. I've put him in. I did know he got 2 yellow cards, but I was panicking because 5 minutes before the deadline, I remember that I had to put in my transfers, and I realized Brian Gilles from Girona was injured, and well, it was a panic move. But Jimenez, as I said, will miss the game against Paris Saint-Germain. But after that, he will play against Sparta Praha and Bratislava, both at home. I think they are one of the worst teams in the Champions League. So if you have other spots to replace, I don't think it's the worst to keep Jimenez in. It isn't the greatest option, as you always want players that can score points for you. But if you want to keep Jimenez in your team, the next 2 games after Paris are Bratislava and Sparta Praha, where I expect Jimenez to get a clean sheet. But I think I would recommend replacing someone who doesn't play, as well, at least you get more points, or possibilities more points, and you can always put him in back the game after. But if I recommend it to replace him, I would recommend it to one of the City players or Emre Can. If you already have Emre Can, just look at the other defenders I've put in, or the other defender I've put in. Who did I put in? The Zappacosta Atalanta, the defender, who is a great option as well. Else, as I said, the City defenders, just keep a close eye on who plays in the weekend. I think if Ake doesn't play in the weekend, or if Lewis or Akancio, the one who doesn't play in the weekend, will probably play in the Champions League on the Tuesday. So just keep a close eye on that. Now, as we're on the last slide again, or on the first slide, depends how you see it, I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and could subscribe and leave a like. That will mean a lot to me. I will be uploading a limitless or a wildcard team, depends on what you guys want yourself. I can't put in them both as I don't have the time to make it. So just say what you rather have, a limitless team or a wildcard team. I will also put in my own team review out there as well, probably on the Monday, the day before the Champions League games. But as I said, my time is limited, so I hope I can get them out there as soon as possible. But for now, these were my early tips. I hope you guys have a good one, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.